Hey, I really love Deltarune. I am flat out in love with this game, and I will be there day one when every subsequent chapter releases. I am so here for it. It connects with me on an emotional level that games typically don't. And whenever I love a piece of media, there's always one character that just sticks out to me. One character that I just get a strange obsession with because they're so deeply personal to me in some roundabout weird way. Characters like Roxas, Ash Crimson, and Azriel from Undertale. It makes sense, I think, like this. I've always been a big fan of ensembles, and really compelling, unique characters stand out to me. I mean, just the main three characters are all so interesting and layered, but Kris is just the character for me. God, I just want that sweater, and I know I can buy that sweater, but it's really expensive, and I don't think I can pull it off, guys. It's a good evolution of the protagonist from Undertale's design. They basically throw in the same language, but give it a new vibe, age it up, and just make it more interesting, I think. I do like Kris's design much more than Frisk. The character is super expressive at certain points, and I think the design really leans into who they are, and I think it's just perfect. It's just perfect. Kris is seemingly a blank canvas that the audience is meant to project themselves onto. What fascinates me is the fact that Kris is still an individual with their own wants, needs, struggles. They're an actual character within the narrative rather than just being you, the audience. Now, what I really love about Kris is the simple concept. At the end of chapter 1, we see Kris and the soul separate for the first time. I love this concept. Whatever it's in, I love it. 2 minds, 1 body. I love this shit. It's so fucking cool. It introduces so much interesting dynamics. It's so much fun. Characters like Captain Marvel, Dr. Fate, Sora, Aang, Korra, and even one of my own characters has this gimmick. This is a character that's kind of made for me because it's built off of a gimmick that I love and I find interesting, and I also love how strained their relationship is. It's less Venom, more Dr. Fate. They're not living in symbiosis, they're kind of accepting the situation at hand. In the basic route of the game, I found myself feeling really bad for Kris. Like, really bad. Like, the only friend you've ever had is your brother, and he's gone. He's at college. And you have no friends. You are a fucking bum loser, and now you're possessed by something you don't understand. I will say, I don't quite know if the soul possesses Kris, or if the soul is Kris's soul, but Kris is just trying to get freedom from it. I don't know which it is, because, you know, the story has not explained this whole situation, and I don't think they have to. And now you have to watch this thing that's controlling you make friends and live the life you want to live, essentially. Yeah, that's pretty sad. Kris is a character people kind of try to swallow into the soul because of how depressing Kris is on their own. I feel like a lot of the time people sort of merge these two into one when they're not. They're explicitly very different. There's so many little moments where you don't really know which of the two made that choice, because oftentimes you're presented with like choice A, choice B, one being like really crazy and over the top and the other being normal. It's really difficult to determine which one is Kris and which one is the soul, or if they're both the soul. A big theme in Deltarune is a lack of control. I know people have said this to death, but your choices don't matter in Deltarune, which is very different from Undertale, where your choices did matter, and, you know, your own freedom kind of shaped the story in Undertale, but Deltarune is much more narrow, and, you know, there's like one straight path, which, you know, isn't true. The point of Deltarune is, honestly, your choices do matter, and your freedom does matter, and, you know, what you choose to do with your life and choose to do to the world around you does affect things. Kris literally does not have control, with the soul often leading them and often in control during the story. I think Kris wants freedom and individuality like Susie. Susie is so important in making Kris work for me as a character. Susie does this dumb shit with Kris for fun. They're having fun because they're kids, they're young, they want to have fun. And I think Kris needs that risk. This stupid shit just to feel real, you know? It's hard to handle looking at Kris at face value because of how tragic they are. I mean, at the end of the day, Kris is just a scared kid lashing out because they don't understand what's happening to them, because they don't like what's happening to them. I don't know why I never mentioned this in the script, but Kris is working with the Night to create dark fountains to, you know, bring about the end times of the world. All that obviously relates to everything I just said. Kris wants freedom, Kris wants to be separated from the soul, and I'm guessing the Night is offering that in particular. Now we gotta talk about this one scene in chapter 4 that, I'll be honest, I nearly cry every time I watch this scene. It is such a little moment in the story, but I think it speaks volumes. At one point in the story, you have to progress by playing a song on the piano, and you, the soul, are just not capable of doing that. But Kris knows how to play piano. So, after failing the puzzle a couple of times, because there is no puzzle, you can't get past this part, Susie says, "Hey, while you were asleep earlier, your mom told me you could play piano. So, come on, just play for us." And Kris getting this moment of control. Not to do anything sinister, not to open another fountain, just to progress the adventure that Kris has been a part of from the start, that Kris clearly loves being a part of. One chance to just play the piano again. It only occurred to me the first time I saw this, how many little things Kris has lost control of because the soul is in control. I mean, Kris hasn't been able to play piano. Kris hasn't gotten to eat the food that they want. Kris hasn't gotten to make the choices that they want. It has all become this linear path laid out before them instead of what they want. Fuck, you ever think, what if Kris wants to go see Asgore? What if Kris wants to go see Noelle? But they don't get to because the soul doesn't choose that. This little piano song, this messy, slow, and these little skips and missing parts, but you can still feel the emotion in the piece. Like, you can hear, ironically, the soul in it. It's Kris. This is Kris's song. I am the only person I see give so much weight to this tiny moment because it just hits me, man. And at the end of chapter 4, Kris separates from the soul and watches Susie leave. This moment is also setting up for chapter 5, and it's showing that Kris has all of these individual wants and needs that don't necessarily clash with what the soul wants. They could live in harmony, but Kris is so angry about the situation they've been put in that that's not gonna happen. I don't think I have ever been so like emotionally invested in a character until Kris. And man, chapter 5 has the potential to fuck me up. So that's where my script ends. But now I've played chapter 5, and this is just gonna be rapid fire thoughts. First and foremost, the most important thing, they acknowledged the piano scene, which felt crazy in the moment because, you know, like I said, I felt like I was the only person giving weight to that, but directly having Rousey look me in the fucking face and tell me, yes, that scene is important, and yes, that scene matters, is so fucking important to me. Like, that means I'm on the right track. Like, I am understanding this story, man. I know where they're going. I know what I'm caring about matters.